You won't want to miss this. It's no secret that Joe Rogan isn't exactly waving the flag for woke culture. Over the years, he's made his stance crystal clear, often calling out the contradictions and overreach that come with it. So, what happens when a guest decides to venture into woke territory on his show? Buckle up, we're about to revisit some unforgettable moments. As always, Joe keeps it real with straight-up facts and no-nonsense logic. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on more content like this.
I'm glad you're better. I'm
Thank
glad
you.
it only lasted a day.
You're probably
Really
the only one at CNN that's glad.
No. We're not.
The rest of them are all lying about me taking horse medication. And we should talk about that.
That bothered you.
It should bother you, too. They're lying at your network about people taking human drugs versus drugs for veterinary.
Calling it a horse dewormer is not a flattering thing. I get that.
It's a lie. It's a lie on a news network, and it's a lie that's a willing... That's a lie that they're conscious of. This is not a mistake.
Yeah.
They're unfavorably framing it as veterinary medicine.
Let's set the stage. It was 2021 when Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN's chief medical correspondent, made a rare appearance on Joe Rogan's podcast. One of those uncommon moments when someone from the so-called mainstream media stepped into Joe's arena. Naturally, the conversation focused on the pandemic and the big push for vaccinations. But here's the twist. Just a month earlier, Joe had revealed he'd caught the virus and was taking ivermectin, prescribed by his doctor. CNN didn't take that lightly. They ran a flurry of stories painting Joe as a reckless conspiracy theorist. So when Sanjay sat across from him, Joe had the perfect chance to push back. And let's just say he didn't hold back. This was his moment to call out the spin and lay the truth on the table.
See that thing that the FDA put out?
What did the FDA put out?
It was a tweet, and it was snarky. I admit it. They said, "You are not a horse, you are not a cow, stop taking this stuff," or something like that.
Why would you say that when you're talking about a drug that's been given out to billions and billions of people, a drug that was responsible for one of the inventors of it making winning the Nobel Prize in 2015?
Yeah.
Yeah, a drug that has been shown to stop viral replication in vitro. You know that, right? Why would they lie and say that's horse dewormer? I can afford people medicine, mother. This is ridiculous. It's just a lie.
I don't think anyone is
But don't you think that a lie like that is dangerous on a news network when you know that they know they're lying? You know that they know that I took medicine. Like, here it is. This is ivermectin.
You got
this
it with
right
you.
Here. Somebody gave it to me.
This one's absolutely hilarious. Just to clear things up, there are two types of ivermectin. One made for animals and one for humans. The animal version is used to deworm horses and livestock. The human version is an FDA-approved drug for treating certain parasitic infections. Simple enough, right? Well, not if you're CNN. They spun the story to make it sound like Joe was out here raiding barns for horse medicine. Suddenly, it wasn't even about whether the drug worked. It turned into something much bigger. Why would a major news network deliberately twist the facts to smear someone? But Joe didn't back down. He kept pressing calmly and relentlessly until Sanjay finally admitted they got it wrong.
Can I just come back to the one I want to talk about? Two things on the ledger.
Before we get to that, does it bother you that the news network you worked for out and out lied, just outright lied about me taking horse dewormer?
They shouldn't have said that.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
You didn't ask? You didn't think that was you're the medical guy over there.
I didn't ask. I should have asked before
coming on
your podcast.
But they did it with such glee.
No,
yes,
Joe.
they did. I watched.
You watched?
I watched.
You watched? No, I don't think there's
yes,
glee.
They did.
No one takes...
Joe Rogan says he has COVID, taking livestock drug despite warnings. Yeah.
Jamie had to pull this up.
You want to play it? But my point is, you're working for a news organization. If they're lying about a comedian taking horse medication, what are they telling us about Russia? What are they telling us about Syria? Do you
Joe did something almost no one else dares to do.
About the veracity of
he held the mainstream media accountable, right to their face. And here's where it gets even funnier. After the episode aired, CNN ran a segment interviewing Sanjay about what it was like to have a long-form conversation with Joe. They aired a few carefully chosen clips, sprinkled in their usual criticism, and, no surprise, took Joe's words out of context. Conveniently, they left out the one moment that really mattered, when Joe flat out called out CNN's lie. Sanjay later tried to brush it off, calling Joe's arguments mental gymnastics. From that point on, CNN seemed to treat Rogan like a personal nemesis, regularly publishing articles with a not-so-subtle tone of resentment. Meanwhile, their viewership tanked, and Joe's podcast skyrocketed, becoming the most popular in the country and around the world. And believe it or not, as intense as that exchange was, it was nothing compared to the fireworks that went off when Graham Hancock and Flint Dibble clashed on the show.
The influence of Flint and his colleagues on media and culture. And again, we've got the Society for American Archaeology, 5,000 members. Flint is one. Flint's co-author, John Hoops, actually helped to write this letter for the Society of American Archaeology. They're saying that I embolden extreme voices that misrepresent archaeological knowledge in order to spread false historical narratives that are overtly misogynistic, chauvinistic, racist, and anti-Semitic. I mean, you apply those labels to somebody and you're going to get that person hated by a lot of people.
Whole ball.
Yeah,
I did not write that.
No, your co-author, John Hoops, wrote it. We urge Netflix to add disclaimers that the content is unfounded. They want it to be called science fiction. In other words, that's a very clever way of canceling me.
I remember catching this one live when it dropped, and wow, it was something else. Graham Hancock has always been a thorn in the side of mainstream archaeology, but things really boiled over when Netflix gave him a platform. In the show, Hancock lays out his theory that an advanced civilization existed during the Ice Age, sharing knowledge with so-called primitive humans before being wiped out by a cataclysm. It's the kind of idea you'd expect to see on the Discovery Channel at midnight, but Hancock took it prime time. Archaeologists were livid. The backlash was intense. They threw every label they could at him, dismissed his ideas outright, and, unsurprisingly, never offered so much as an apology. Honestly, the outrage felt like overkill. Makes you wonder what kind of meltdown would see if Eddie Bravo ever landed his own Netflix deal. But what really turned up the heat was Dibble's response, delivered right after being shown a letter on air. Let's just say it didn't do him any favors.
Go back to that. Why would
And
someone...
here's Flint.
Graham, you're
Here's
so
Flint.
much more of a celebrity than me.
Here's Flint. Netflix. Correct. I'm
Come
sorry.
on.
I'm sorry that I am Flint. That's not really my problem. Hey,
saying I have
Netflix.
this power.
Hey, Netflix. Correct your mistake and reclassify Ancient Apocalypse as fantasy. Netflix corrects your mistakes. This is you pushing this, Flint. And then the general media
tiny
fishy
Twitter
Netflix
accounts?
show, Ancient Apocalypse, is the most dangerous show on Netflix. You used the word dangerous
Where?
repeatedly in your conversation piece.
I think that the way that you refer to archaeology as, you say that you're number one enemy of archaeology and things like that, you are promoting people to dislike what we do. We are doing our jobs. No, you started off Ancient Apocalypse by calling us patronizing and arrogant.
Archaeologists see me as public enemy number one.
Enemy of archaeology. That's what they call him. You're promoting people to dislike what we do. We are just doing our jobs. But hold on. They started Ancient Apocalypse by calling archaeologists patronizing and arrogant. No wonder Hancock says they see him as public enemy number one. Let me be clear. I'm not here to prove Graham Hancock right. But first, quick shout out to Flint for wearing that hat. Honestly, without it, I wouldn't have guessed he was an archaeologist. Jokes aside, though, what does someone being more well-known than you have to do with the fact that you resorted to calling them a bunch of nasty names? That's not debate. That's just ego. And when Hancock calmly pointed out examples of others who were mocked by archaeologists but later proven right, things got tense fast. Flint didn't take it well. He got visibly fired up, and the whole vibe shifted. Neither side walked away with a clear win, but that's exactly what made the episode so compelling. It was one of those rare moments that showed why Joe stands out as an interviewer. He doesn't let anyone skate by, no matter what side they're on. It was raw, honest, and pulled no punches. I'd love to hear what you think about it, so let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to share it with your friends. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.